I recently completed a 3-day water fast. I mean, no food, only water, only water. And man, oh man. Now, why would I do this to myself? Someone asks. Really, to be honest, it wasn't just for my health. It was a spiritual and mental test. I've heard good things about it, and I wanted to see if I could discipline myself, if I could discipline my flesh. I wanted to see if I could tell my body no so that my spirit could say yes. And let me tell you, okay, the 24 hours in, I was like, okay. I kept myself busy by doing work. I was like, okay, I got it. I started on a Sunday, February 1st, yes. And the hunger hits. But by the time the hunger hit, it was time to go to sleep. So I was like, okay, fine, no problem. Then I get to work. Work kept me busy, so it was like, okay. But when I got out of work, baby, my body was screaming. It was screaming at me. It wanted comfort. It wanted what was familiar. It wanted food. It wanted the food. I wanted to chew on something. But once I passed, I was like, okay. It's like I'm on the second day. We're not gonna give up. We got one more day to go, you know? So I said, I've already passed the first day. We're on the second day. We're not gonna give up. So I had to pass through that comfort. And once I passed through that comfort, something amazing happened. Something very amazing happened. You know what that something was? It was clarity. It was clarity. My focus. I started noticing like my focus being sharpened. My spirit felt lighter. I felt like I was doing what I needed to do. I was excited about it. And here's the thing. Here's the biggest lesson I would say that I learned. You reap the benefits long after the fast is over. Because the next day, when I got off work and I wanted to eat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry, right? I was like, girl, you just did a 3-day water fast. You ate nothing but air for 3 days. Okay? We can hold out for this 30-minute drive. It's okay. And it also showed me too how much I want to eat with emotions. The emotional eater. I want to eat when I'm happy. I want to eat when I don't feel like it. It made me realize those things, and I said, "Oh, okay, girl, we can't do that. We can't do that at all." But I had to realize that. Even now, still days later, I do still feel the mental clarity. I realize that when you put yourself in an environment of discipline, you don't just get through it, you evolve. I actually enjoy the feeling of that elevation so much that I decided to join the fasting community because something powerful. But in the community, I did a group, the water fast. It was the extra spiritual fast, and one thing she said that each pound is attached to a story, and I said, "Oh, that's good. That's good," because where I'm going now, I've had the same weight loss goal for the last 3 years. It's time for it's time for me to see that on the scale. It is time. Like I'm sick of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this and do." Like, no, it is time. Like I'm completely sick of it. Like sick of it. It's time. I can't do this anymore. And I said, that's right. I need the community, and I joined the community. And then I realized I didn't just want to do this, by myself. I wanted to be a part of a group of people who value discipline over the comfort. Y'all are probably saying, like, why is she telling us this story about her 3-day fast? Why? Because preparing for the Naplex is no different. It's a fast. you have to, and I'm going to say stay with me now. Just stay with me, okay? You have to starve your distractions. You have to do it. You have to starve your distractions so you can feed your focus. For many of you, the reason you haven't had the success on the Naplex is because you're trying to feed an old identity. You're trying to feed it. I want to tell you a story about a client I worked with recently, and let's call him David. Well, I'll just say his name David. Yeah, I ain't told his last name, so his name is David. Now, David's story is one of those stories where I see more often in people, like that. I see it often more than people like to admit it. He's a brilliant guy, brilliant pharmacist. But the catch is, he has been out of pharmacy school for a year. He graduated, life happened, he started working, and he never took the exam. And he was sitting on his first attempt for this whole time. This entire time. Sitting on his first attempt. Now you may think, like, he had a whole year to study, right? Like, he must be ready. But the opposite is true. David was paralyzed. Every single month that went by, the pressure just got heavier. He saw his classmates. You can relate, right? You see your classmates getting licensed. You see them buying the cars. You see them starting their lives. And there David is just stuck. Stuck in this grad intern limbo, right? He told me on the call, and like on a coaching session, he said, I feel like I'm losing it. I feel like the longer I wait, the more I regret it. And now I'm terrified to take it, because what I waited a whole year for, just to fail. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. And I said, as we got going a deep dive, getting some things, I realized, I said, Dr. David, I don't think you have like an academic problem, because when I ask you clinical questions, you do very well. What I do think is, I think your issue is deeper than the material. It's part of what we call, in the think like a pharmacist framework. It's part of that. It's what we call identity. That identity crisis there. It's there. Because you're comfortable being a student. And he was. He was comfortable being a grad intern. Why? Because students are allowed to make mistakes, right? Students are allowed to be learning. But a pharmacist has to make decisions. A pharmacist, someone's life is in a pharmacist's hand. They can't make no mistakes. David, we identified through our series of digging deep and asking questions, and he going through the system. David, we found out that David was avoiding the exam because he was avoiding the responsibility of his new identity. When David and I got on the call, I had to be very real with him. Just like with my water fast. I had to tell him, we need to detox you from your fear. Because this is a fear that is hindering you and holding you back like no other. And we identified that his procrastination wasn't laziness. It was his protection. His brain was trying to protect him from the possibility of failure. And we used to think like a pharmacist system to shift his perspective. I told him, you have been studying like a student for a year now, trying to memorize every single line because you're afraid of getting a question wrong. And I need you to start thinking like a pharmacist. Start studying like a pharmacist who is afraid of hurting a patient, not getting a question wrong. Do we see the difference? A student focuses on getting the A, getting the 80% on the quiz, getting the 9% on the quiz. A pharmacist studies to save a life. So we had to strip away this student label. We stopped the passive reading, highlighting everything that you don't know what's important no more. Write down every detail, regurgitating the book you just read. We had to move to active decision making. We had to build a schedule that wasn't just about reading chapters, but truly applying the concepts. Just like I joined a community to keep my fasting discipline, right? David needed a community. He needed a guide to hold him to that high standard. Or I say to that higher standard that he needed. He couldn't do it alone anymore. He couldn't do it alone anymore. So you say, what happened? Here's the thing. After 1 year of avoidance, after 1 year of fear, David finally took his exam. He went into the testing center. He said, Doc, I wasn't a scared student anymore who was the hope he would pass. I went in there and I was like, I'm this professional who ready to work. He said, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to go into the profession and let them know David was here. I said, ooh, you talking that talk. You talking that talk. Okay. Love it. But he said no. He told me after, he said, I felt different. He said, I didn't feel like I was guessing on the exam. I feel like I was just practicing. Just how the same systems and routines you told me, I was just passing. I was just like practicing. And yes, David did pass. He passed on his first attempt. But here's the most important part. Just like, again, my water fast. My water fast taught me discipline that lasts after the fast was over. Right? David just didn't pass a test because of the work we did on his mindset. He is now stepping into his job with confidence. He isn't dealing with this imposter syndrome because he killed that imposter during the prep. He killed that imposter doing his prep. He's reaping the benefits of his discipline. Reaping them. And you are sitting here watching this video. And you are like David. Maybe you are like David. Okay. Maybe you've been out of school for 6 months, a year, or even longer. Maybe you are scared to take the first attempt or the second attempt because you don't know who you are without this struggle. I want to challenge you today. I want to really challenge you today. It is time to fast from this fear. It's time to starve the doubt and feed your destiny. And you cannot do this with the same mindset that got you stuck. You need a shift. You need a shift. And I want to invite you. I want to invite you to a special event that I'm hosting on March 4th. And literally, we're going to March 4th on March 4th. I want to get into this mindset, these critical things that are holding you back from taking this exam and conquering it. Okay? We want to get into it. We want to get into it. I want you to join. I want you to get this aha moment that you need. Get this awakening that you need. Get this strategy that you need. So we're not waiting another year, another 6 months, another 3 months. Because the cost of waiting is too high. And I want you to join me. Go visit laquitajohnson.com/March4th. And the link is below. And let's conquer this. Let's get into it, okay? Okay? Until next time. Remember that pharmacy is only if you are. And I want you to go be great. And I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Peace out.